Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these restless nights, all these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of ain't it Beijing, man, ain't know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brothers since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could light the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. How will I get out of the jungle? Everybody wanna stop me. 10 more steps up the mountain. Now everybody's looking for me. Spend my life in the desert till something changed inside of me. Now I'm flying over oceans. Everybody looking at me. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Full power, get louder. I'ma get stronger, just watch me. Full power, get louder. I'ma get stronger, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. Gonna hear my song, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. I can run this town. Somebody give me the key. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. No more doubt about me. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, don't you know I got the Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes. And you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, Kidia, and 1xBet.
Hello everybody and welcome to the ESL Challenger League on this fine evening. Counter-Strike's Rising Stars will do battle in our European Cup, our first of 3 European Cups at that. We're well into the bracket and it's Elimination Day here today. My name's Eternal J. I'm joined by Dwayne as per usual for our mainstream action. How you doing, man?
I'm very excited to continue the run with a lot of teams fighting for just a single spot here in Cup number 1. There's a lot on the line, especially when we're talking about lower bracket action.
Indeed, and that's where we'll be focusing our action, our attention towards in today's proceedings. Of course, only one spot available for the regional final in ESL Challenger League. And right now, got a handful of teams that are currently in the proceedings in the upper bracket. Zero Tenacity and BetBoom will be doing a battle against each other, and 9 will take on Paravision in those upper bracket semi-finals. So still some glory to hold over for some of those recognizable names in Tier 2.
I'm very surprised Z10 with their upper bracket run. I mean, they had to take down, Spirit Academy in their opening game. They took down the Mega as well. That might be a squad that a lot of people would overlook, perhaps, when we're talking about the latter stages of these kind of cups.
Well, can BetBoom, who should be on paper favourites in that series, come out on top? We'll find out as the night rolls on. But again, here on mainstream, our focus is on the lower bracket, as our 2 games will be Iberian Soul versus OG and Johnny Speeds taking on Ent. I think Johnny Speeds and Ent, a little bit of history in that matchup, Blake.
Yeah, there's a little bit of history too, but so is it with the Iberian teams. I mean, we're looking at Alex and co that we've got on this stream today versus a Source side who, let's be honest, last few months, it's been quite tough coming out of the play break. They go out in last place of the lower bracket.
Things, of course, already transpiring pretty deep into this one. As we look towards our top 6, we do start to get a bit of a feeling as who's going to come out on top in the first cup. And, of course, second chances in mind and all. We focus, as you mentioned earlier, on Iberian Soul versus OG as our matchup here on the mainstream. And certainly a little bit of history in that with the Iberian Soul lads getting eliminated from the ESL Pro League qualifier at the hands of the team that stand opposite.
And they've got a lot to prove because this is now a Spanish side that's been towards an organization. I mean, we were kind of counting the days, right? When we were following Iberian Soul throughout 2025, we're thinking, okay, how long is it going to be until international offers are going to get given? How long is it going to be until the team disbands? But Alex & Co., orgless for 7 months and 17 days, has finally found a home. That has got to be the most satisfying feeling for all of these players so far in 2025.
Yeah, most certainly. They'll be playing as Iberian Soul here in this competition, but you must imagine that come next season, that will not end up being the case. So you're right about their position in terms of how they progress, because there was a point where I was looking at Iberian Soul alongside another Iberian team called Portuguese Family, saying, listen, they've just been dropped by the organizations. They probably haven't got a lot in their backing in terms of potential like long-term futures. But unlike the Portuguese Family, Iberian Soul have outlasted, and they've actually managed to make it pay off for themselves. So there's actually a long-term future involved in this team.
Indeed there is, and oftentimes results do the talking, and I think that's exactly what's happened here for the Spanish side. Now, we saw for the likes of Martinez, he gets dropped by 9Z, and the timing couldn't be any better. You've got Stododo being kicked out of the squad, and Smuya, he comes in to help the boys out. He played with them in the past, he knows what Alex is like as a caller, but a Spanish-speaking squad isn't going to want a British AWPer. So Martinez was an easy go-to, and the idea that he used to play with the Movistar Riders from what, August 2022 to December 2023, he then gets sold to play in South America for a good 18 months or so. He knows what's at stake. He knows what it's like to be successful, because I would say when he was a part of the Movistar Riders back then, they were pretty firmly involved in the Tier 1 circuit.
Indeed, and that's part of the reason why he's one of our players to watch, and certainly our player to watch here before we get into the matchup, because look, I think he was rather impressive in South America, and reforming with his new teammates, or his old teammates I should say, from that old Movistar Riders team. You look at Martinez and say that his addition sort of coincides with this uptick in form. Now, it also coincides with the exit of Stododo. I think we're both in agreement. Drake wasn't really doing much for Iberian Soul in quality. With his exit, started winning tournaments like Galaxy Battle, the Proving Grounds, the Roman Imperium Cup, which is a local level Iberian LAN. So they've just been doing great things across the board since those roster swaps have happened.
Well, since they've added Martinez, Alex & Co., like you mentioned, have won a local LAN. They qualified to the Starladder Budapest LAN. They've won 10 out of their past 11 best of threes on HLTV. So if you're Martinez, you've come into a squad and you almost don't know what it's like to lose. You've just come in and it's just been constant success. It's been series after series. I mean, look at their recent run of form. 5 series in a row in which 4 of them are 2-0s. Those best of threes, a lot of the maps aren't even competitive. They have been coming in and they have been dominating competition in Tier 2.
Indeed they have. I think the only real result that they've actually had any much resistance upon was Paravision earlier on during the upper bracket in this competition. So now they've picked up the pace and really put the hole into OG, although OG again were the team that beat them out in their last head-to-head against them. Map veto's up on screen right now. We've got Mirage, we've got Ancient, and we have a little bit of Nuke to close things out, and that's pretty looking 2/3 similar to how the last series played out as well.
So you get a very intriguing veto between both of these teams for one very good reason. Now, Dust 2 is the permaban for both teams. So what does that open up for OG? A chance to punish ban, right? Go into something strong for your opposition. Now, Nuke is the #1 map for both of these teams, but you don't want to pick it in a best of 3. You'd rather float it towards the end. So typically you'd say, okay, well, Inferno's a next good option for the Spanish squad. When that gets banned, you go into a weakness of the veto. We very rarely see Train picks or Ancient picks or Mirage picks, because it's normally either Nuke or it's Inferno. So this could be a little bit of a worry to start the series, just because it's something we don't usually see. As for OG, they pick a lot of Nuke, and then their second highest picked map in the pool is Ancient. So from OG's perspective, in terms of a veto, I think they'll be very happy to go into something like Mirage. They'll go into a strong suit of Ancient, and then if we have to go to the decider, you're going into something that's very comfortable for both teams.
And we've waxed lyrical quite a lot about Iberian Soul to start off this show. I guess it's now time to sort of talk about a little bit about OG before we get started in this one, because they've been making some serious movements of their own right, with the core being so young. I think about 5 months or so since Nikodos had closed out the core 3 of him, Spook, and Crizin. Adam B coming in July, Aristos coming in 2 weeks ago. Like, they've been trying to make positive moves, and you know, so far I'd say that actually they've been doing rather well with those moves.
Well, to me, OG have finally found their identity, right? They're working with young and hungry Tier 2 players rather than recycling the ex-Tier 1 players that they used to have. I think this is the direction to push forward, because look at last year. They didn't qualify to either major in 2024, but yet they were out there in Austin and they performed quite well in Austin. They were able to beat Complexity, they beat Tai Lu, they beat NRG, they took M80 to double digits in their best, or into overtime, I should say, in the best of one. They took a map off of Falcons when it came to stage 2 of the competition. So I'm convinced, not only with this core, but this new direction of youth, it's the way forward for OG as an org.
Well, certainly, it's a departure from what you mentioned that we've seen from them in the past. They wanted to come in and be some heavy hitters. It hasn't quite worked out for them. And 6 years down the road of their involvement in Counter-Strike, I'm at least excited to say that this is probably one of the best looking OGs that we've ever seen. Now, I'll admit, I've said that in the past, and they have actually completely bottled it off the back of that. So I'm hoping I haven't cursed this roster from the outset. But look, there's a lot of great pieces involved in this team that I think could build into something very special for OG.
Well, you're right about having good pieces, and there's no denying that OG have been in really good form recently. However, Rostos's individual form, it looks dreadful. It's really inconsistent, and you could put that down to him working with a new in-game leader, working with teammates you've not had before, but also that it's only your second ever professional international team. He made his name in the local scene on the For the Win organization, out there on SOAR before going over to NIP, which even in itself did okay, but didn't really get that success of pushing the org up towards tier 1 from tier 2. You've now joined up on OG, and he's looked rough. And when you talk about these high impactful series where you're going up against a strong team like Alex and co, I'd like to see whether Rostos can maybe show that he can perform at this level and that he's the right fixture to join this organization.
I mean, seeing the numbers that we've seen from him, it does make me a little bit worried that it's like an international fit sort of thing, because you're right about him as an individual, and he's always been a very local scene sort of guy, and I guess to a certain extent you'll be looking at this matchup hoping he can prove something against the Iberian Soul lads. But with the fact that NIP has been his only real international stint, and you have to wonder whether or not that was even like an appropriate way forward for him as an individual, you have to wonder if there's going to be some sort of that chemistry issue, if you almost will, between the international players and himself.
Well, it certainly puts it on the basis of a lot of other guys on the team being in the same sort of conversation. I mean, Spook, he kind of only played in the local scene out in Sweden. He had that little stint playing with Sprout, little stint with the Norwegians out there on Nordovin Talon. But look at one of the newer pickups of Adam B. Well, he only played in the Swedish scene, didn't he? Very early on in his career out in Lemon Dogs, played with the Young Ninjas and Nilo especially for a decent tenure there. And then he moved over to Metasport, where he had a lot of success with his twin brother of Sus. But this is his first international team. And I think that's the way forward that we see a lot of these teams in tier 2, and even in the lower divisions, we're getting a lot more international rosters. We're not getting as many local feats. We're not getting the players being loyal to the local countrymen. Whereas when I look at Alex and co, almost all of them have only stayed locally. Yes, Alex had a little stint on NIP, and you can say that Martinez had a bit of a stint playing in South America. Everybody else though, Jay, it's basically been we're on Spanish teams and we're on nothing else.
Makes you wonder again whether or not that's going to end up hindering certain elements of these respective sides. Again, it definitely favours the numbers of the OG side. Fortunately for Iberian Soul, that national pride has worked up well to keep them involved in all players seemingly ranked green with the new rating 3.0 coming out recently. I again sort of look at Martinez as being the guy to watch out for, but guys like Mopos and Sasol, they have been outperforming him in the last 3 months.
Well, look back at what Movistar Riders was when they were sort of, like a top 15-ish kind of team, like a tier 1 to tier 1.5. They just played fundamentally some really good CS. It wasn't star players that got themselves out of trouble. Now, yeah, when they lost Sampias, I think that was a really big hit to the organization, and you could see the drop-off for it. But the knowledge that they can come back and that they can kind of go to different projects and they can return in a really competitive tier 2 landscape and bring a team basically out of nowhere in towards the heights of tier 2, getting closer to more qualifications, it tells you that Alex can do it. I mean, even at the time, there was a lot of criticism from me, a lot of criticism from other people that he wasn't the right player to lead NIP. Why would you select a player that's never worked on an international project to have tier 1 players around you? Look at what he's done now. As soon as he's come back home, as soon as he recognizes the pieces that he's worked with before, he's been able to take this team to the high again.
And that comes back to that whole thing of, well, sometimes you're just not cut out for that international level of competition, right? Whether it be chemistry for within your sort of like international team, or whether whether it's a communication thing. Like famously, for example, Shox was trying to make his move into an international space back during the online era in the pandemic time, and he wasn't quite able to do it because his communication in English wasn't quite up to snuff and up to speed with the level, with the speed at which you need to communicate information with. And so that might be something to think about for guys like obviously Alex in the past, but even someone like Aristos involved with OG. Is there a communication problem within this team sort of thing? Like, these are questions that will be going on in my mind as I see these matches play out.
And I have no questions about the future for Iberian Soul because, look, they're playing in that Romanian LAN on Friday. I think they've got, NIP, Passion UA, Fnatic alongside them in the playoffs. They're waiting for the first stage of the competition to see who they're going to be up against. You're in a position now at 25th on the VRS where you're going to go towards the Star Ladder LAN. You're playing here in ECL. Your target is now got to be Tier 1. You're in a position where you can see the goal. You can see the qualification to a Pro League in sight. Now, you're not there yet, and you're probably maybe a few months off being in a position where you can solidly confirm yourself a tier 1.5 team and you can get that experience of playing against the very best in the world. But I think that for Iberian Soul, they're probably in a better position than where OG are if that is the goal, if that is the expectation for both of these organizations.
That's certainly one particular angle you could look at it from. Equally, though, you could take a look at OG and say, look, they've also qualified to that Star Series LAN. They made it through that qualifier in the same sort of way that Iberian Soul did. And so you've got this whole, like, right, we've got one team coming up from the tier 2 trying to crack into the tier 1 environment, and OG who have kind of floated around tier 1.5. They've been part of a couple of events, obviously the major being the most significant one, but also Blast Bounty most recently, where they took on the likes of Mouse, for instance. Events like this where they pop up here and there, even if they're not quite as prominently winning out in the tier 2 space. So you could argue that actually it could also be a similar sort of thing for OG, even if the roster is so new that you could forgive them somewhat.
And they've had a pretty good run so far in this one tournament. I mean, I look at their opening game against Ruby. They got tested, but they were able to beat them quite easily. They went up against 9. That would have been a bit of a disappointing loss to not take a single map there. They go up against 33, beat them again being tested. The 2-0 versus Big, though, Jay. 13-9, 13-9 on back-to-back maps of both Train and Nuke. And then BC Game, they played them in another tournament, had a rematch in only a few days. And while that was another competitive series, they got a 2-1 win against a very good-looking Simple in that best of 3.
Well, only one can come out on top, so Dwayne, I'm going to ask you now, your predictions in this series, OG or Iberian Soul?
Iberian Soul, probably 2-1. I expect that we are going to go to Nuke as the decider.
All right, let's get into it then. You'll be Mirage to kick things off. Aristos going to peek up forward first and get domed in by Sasul. Straight block shots. Davi will take down Spook in the back lines of the A-bomb site. Adam B and Nikodos bring it into a 2v3, making it 2 now as Crizzen also chimes up. We've got another kill from the man. Bopos down. Sasul caught outside of any sort of action. Bomb being dropped in the open and all. And OG have locked Iberian Soul out of the bomb site and out of the pistol round.
Well, it's an underwhelming defense from the first line of contact. Spook and Arostos get absolutely nothing out of it, but the rotators are very successful. Out from connector and towards jungle, up from CT, we're seeing immediate impact. Iberian Soul may have been able to create space, but not enough space to be able to take jungle and force that plant down. So OG can get started with the pistol round victory. Now, look at both of these teams. We're looking at OG with 6 wins, 8 losses in the last 3 months on HLTV versus the Spaniards of the 9 wins and the 6 losses. And this is a map that we very rarely see in terms of a map pick, so it is something very different than what we would normally expect.
And certainly a departure from that last head-to-head. Again, it was Inferno, Ancient, and Nuke that was brought out here. This time, Mirage, Ancient, and Nuke brought in. OG trying to avoid the 2-13 loss they took on that Inferno against the Iberian Soul lads in the last outing. So I guess makes sense in terms of history as to why they'd want to avoid it.
And we know that Crizzen just a few weeks ago had his 1-year anniversary of being signed by the OG organization. The young in-game leader is still only 19 years old. You expect that he's going to be the forefront of the future. I look at some of the recent changes that OG have made. I think a lot of people were maybe surprised to see Fiku getting the kick, considering how long that he had been there. But sometimes you have to be in a result-based industry and tough changes need to be made. I mean, even the coaching staff, we're talking about, the 2 Frenchmen of Lambert and Killazoo, they've been a part of the org for, coming up to 18 months now. They would have maybe looked at the trajectory after the major and said, look, we're just not quite satisfied with how the results have been going on. We need to be in a position where we can qualify to the next major, get in and around the Tier 1 circuit. So they've definitely put their foot down when it comes to making changes recently.
And Crizzen, obviously, a guy that would made his name within the whole academy systems, and it's kind of exciting to see that he is sort of leading the charge of, not I want to say youth, but of just like the next generation within this OG roster. And as you mentioned, that probably is going to be their identity moving forward as an organization and as a team. It does make you excited for what kind of platform it could provide players, and certainly they've provided platforms in the past. Will this be the platform of success for everybody involved here today? Iberian Soul on the back foot, starting off this series. They are bringing those Tech 9s out for another A hit.
They're going for a much quicker play. This HE's going to do some decent damage.
It doesn't quite actually manage to do as much here. Iberian Soul scattered away from the center of the match. SMG struggles a little bit as a result. Crizzen's forced to trade back on Alex. Fall away from angles, or several men inbound towards him. Will need some backup to get here soon. And the Tech 9s indeed will get run down by Nikodos, who gets a couple of kills out of it. Martinez and Sasol getting trades together, and the Deagle continues to tap heads. Suddenly, Arostos is in a 1 versus 2. Bomb's been dropped in the open at least. He's trying to fight from range with that MP5. Molotov burning Martinez down. He's not out of the round just yet here. He might be in a moment's time here. Arostos peeking, finds him. Where's the last? He has no idea. Sasol creeping slowly, give away 0 info. Arostos going to have to check all his corners and just about win the 1v2.
It's an uncomfortable round there from OG, and I'm wondering if Alex is looking at this saying, let's force buy again. It's unorthodox because you're not getting the bomb down, but 4 casualties, you got very close. And this is back-to-back rounds where the entries have been really good, right? As soon as they're taking contact, whether it be from Palace or even out there towards A-ramp, they're getting opening kills on the bomb site. It's the mid-round where they're struggling to close.
Get some more confidence out of the OG side to maintain this early start. Iberian Soul, you're well aware of what they've got to work with, forcing again into the 3rd round. They're playing a much slower style of round into their defaults towards top end of mid, where Alex, the charge initially with the Tech 9, is one of 2 Tech 9s in 3 Galils outside of that.
Now, they had an option to try and drop AKs and maybe have a couple of players without any armor going sort of glass cannon into pistols. And they've gone everyone into armor and upgrades. Try and get the util forward for the pistol players. HE down there towards underpass means that Davi G is not going to be able to do a lot in the round. Another HE. This is very difficult now for the Tech 9.
1-for-1 trade. The Spook and Martinez go blow for blow. He's waiting for more contact here on Sean. He will be able to get Mopos on a double kill. Fall back away to the bomb site where Sasol was prodding out initially, but being quiet and careful, going to wait for his teammates to form up because it might have to be a split play in. Maybe a flank play out from Alex on the mid window position, because there's really not a lot of breathing room for Iberian Soul.
But they need Alex to make a play. If he can get 1 kill and pull distraction away from B, that will open up the avenue for the bomb to come up short and then for the lurk to come out from the apartments.
30 seconds for the T's to make a move. The Soldier's made his move into his own demise. Spook catches him. It's a 4v2. Martinez down to 1 man, just surrounded, not sure where to look, not sure where to go, and with him dropping the bomb, that is the round done and dusted. Confidence restored. Spook with a quadra, and OG with 4 players alive, 3 rounds on their board. Iberian Soul cannot justify a force buy this time.
OG has played at just 1 LAN in 2025, that being the Austin Major. They'd love the chance of qualifying to something like an ESL Pro League to feel like they're coming back. I know that they just qualified to Star Ladder recently, but we're now talking about almost going into September. And when we've looked at OG recently, we might look at this roster on paper, Jay, and say there's a lot of potential, they're in good form, but you'd almost expect more LAN appearances so far in 2025.
Well, sometimes the rankings can dictate all in that respect. OG, Adam B, easy pickings against the Eco Pistols of Iberian Soul, so not much you can expect out of success from them in this one. Martinez is still trying to make it expensive, and he's been doing a pretty decent job of finding those picks in the unlikely scenarios. Doesn't seem like any more should come through for him, though. As Saul actually, this Tech 9 will get a couple out past this smoke. Nikodos does trade him, and even Martinez all alone. Regardless, it'll be 3 casualties at least, and that's where it will remain for OG. So Iberian Soul continuing to try and find the damage on the economy.
Jay previously was talking about some of the head-to-heads that we've had between these two sides. There's 2 on record in 2025. Now, both matches had the loser being eliminated out of the tournament. And I'll always like that little rivalry. It doesn't matter how long it's been or maybe how many series there are. When you get into that constant flow of pressured matches, of one off day, one sort of maybe mid showing on your map pick, that's it. You just get eliminated out of ECL and then your chances of Pro League just disappear. OG can look at the start here, Mirage, and say, look, this is positive. Yes, they've been competitive and we've been losing players, so our economy isn't ideal. We're still 4-0 up. Let's keep this confidence going. Let's allow ourselves to continue to push on.
Rifles a return for the Spaniards. Axlos bonus in, of course. Seeing the AWP in on Martinez as well for the first time in this game. And back to that slow passive style of D4 that we saw from round 3. This time just about taking that mid-access. Flashbangs in mind. 3 players total are defending this mid-angle from connector and from short. Iberian Soul, meanwhile, their core players forming up in the apartments. B seems to be the final end.
Rostos has got nothing to block. He can only really fall back, try and get himself out towards jail or towards bench. He can't even set up much of a crossfire because Nikodos is only in market, not out towards short where Spook is.
Shot miss from Martinez. Pulls back. The M4 of Arostos. Trying to hold his nerve. His other teammates coming in the kills. Spook with his double. Finally, Arostos gets one out of there. Spook holds on the Davy G on the trade counts. Triple secured. Nikodos closes the round. A 5th on the board of OG, making mincemeat of Iberian Soul thus far.
And maybe that is just a concern of the veto process. I mean, I'm looking at the stats. The Iberian Soul team has played 40 best of 3s on HLTV in the last 3 months. Inferno has been picked 19 times, Nuke at 17, and then there's a huge drop-off. It's Train at just 3, and then after that is Ancient at 1. So that just tells you they only pick Inferno or Nuke. So when you come into a best of 3 where you're going up against a very good Nuke team in OG and you want to float that as the decider and you can't get Inferno because of the perma ban or at least the punish ban because of Dust 2 for both, you're going into Mirage that's never been picked. And this is where, for Iberian Soul, we talk about the recent run of form, right? You keep going into strong maps into every best of 3. However, in this lower bracket game, you're not going into a strong map straight away.
You still got the wins on the board, however. In the previous head-to-heads they've had against Fnatic, beat them 13-3, Foot beat them 13-10. Very good teams have fallen to this squad, and yet OG seem to be going a step beyond. Soul strikes in mid for Alex. At least Spook will finally get neutered, and that's a key danger man with the number of sequences he's got on that short angle. Arostos gonna get dinked up, not ready for them to push that far forward. So as he drops, the B site will drop with him. Iberian Soul taking a bit of a freebie round. OG need to save their guns here.
Well, Rostos is playing the exact same position on the edge of the van as he did in the last round, not reposing, not being in a slightly different angle. So he just gets overwhelmed. Should be an easy kill from Alex. The timing's slightly off, unfortunately, there to not drop that AK out from Con. So OG can hold on to the save, and look, I don't think they're going to be too disappointed about that. You hold on to 3, you've got 2 M4s, you've got an AK, you've still got a decent amount of util in terms of both the incendiary and the smoke being held. But for Iberian Soul, it was the in-game leader. It was Alex to create that opening pathway to start with a short kill.
An opening round for Iberian Soul.
Terrorists win.
Providing opportunities now for their campaign. OG have looked confident at times, although they also have looked tested at others. Iberian Soul build up their economy quite strong as a result of the 4 players that stayed alive, upgrading to a 5th man with a rifle. So I'm going to convert that opening into a follow-up. See how they do that.
Iberian Soul have been taking mid quite cautiously. They're not taking it aggressively at all, not trying to get players up in towards con or boost it into window. They're quite happy to sit back and retake around the minute marker on the clock. Now, Nikodos with the AWP is going to position himself out towards short rather than the traditional window or connector. Iberian Soul know that they are getting close towards resetting the economy and they just need to start scrambling a few rounds in a row. We've seen a lot of B hits, haven't we? Whether it be splits out from both the apartments and short or just from apartments directly. Not many A-leans at all.
When they've gone for A-leans, it's been set pieces and they've been ripped apart on Iberian Soul's part. OG now doing a bit of a better job at fending them off in the apartments at least. No opening kill against Arostos. In fact, his think down damage done to Davi G in mid. A bit of a back foot here for Iberian Soul, wary of what OG are playing at. Alex trying to prod out some sort of response towards the A-bomb side, but in reality, making their way in with a split play. Alex good to deal with Nikodos, and double up onto Krisen as well. Arostos got to defend the back of the bomb site and does well with the first man. Overcooks the flick to the second though, so Saul deals with him. 2 low HP players on the Iberian Soul part, but 2-man advantage at the exact same time. OG don't fancy their chances here. Danny might sneak in one more kill, not quite whiffing the spray on Adam B. So he'll get away alive, as will Spook. The round will go the way of the Soul though.
Now, we know that both of these teams have got head coaches and assistant coaches, and I'm almost starting to ponder the idea. I mean, we were just discussing it as the commentators at the start of the series that Arostos is struggling, individually he's not performing well. Is it maybe a tendency that we've seen that from the coach's POV of maybe the last few Mirage officials of targeting Arostos in particular, targeting that B bomb site, because we see yet another round where, okay, he's going 1-for-1, but it's still not quite a multi-frag. It's Nikodos getting flashed off the angle towards short. There's got to be a reason why they're hitting this B bomb site as much as they have, and it's got to be something that the coach or even the assistant coach is bringing forward to someone like Alex.
Have they identified a weakness? It certainly feels like it at times. Articles called in by OG, and I guess now's a good time to sort of delve in a little bit deeper to that whole like B hit over and over again, because I was trolling through the tables, the position tables that Nero put out recently, that he updates occasionally about where all the players' positions are, and noticing that Arostos playing B short officially on Mirage, but right now is playing more central bomb site or playing on the defensive on the apartments. So I wonder if that might have something to do with it.
And that's always going to have to be something of role overlap, right? No matter what organization you're a part of, you can get shifted from small site anchor to big site anchor, more active roles, less passive roles. It's what you have to be as a professional player in any division, in any tier of Counter-Strike, is adaptability. 5-2 for OG. Iberian Soul, at the moment, won't be too satisfied with the scoreline, but they'll be satisfied with how these last couple of rounds have been going down for them.
Incendiary push. Quick up to that B bomb site. Arostos again pressured this time. Nikodos' AWP is in position to receive with Spook on the AK. Krisen chimes in as well towards mid. And just like that, Iberian Soul have been countered. OG adapting well. And should take number 6 on their CT side as a result soon enough. It comes down to time or eliminations. Won't matter. There's no way back in for the Soul.
Really good timing on that incendiary, because what it tells you, especially when they've been hitting B as much as they have, if you're hearing ticks burning within the first sort of 15, 20 seconds of the round, it's just going to be a B lean. So it brings everyone's attention over. We've seen previously that you've had, what, Arostos as the B site anchor, and then Nikodos with the AWP towards short. We haven't seen that quick rotation from Spook, and that's something that happens out there towards market. You've almost got a triangulation of 3 on B. And Iberian Soul just want to try and save onto the weapons. There's just nothing going for this round at all. And Krisen has been able to make the correct call, end the streak, and get yourself up to 6. Now, if you are the international roster of OG, you're probably looking at this first half and saying, look, if we can get 8-4, we'll be very happy with that scoreline. That will give us a lot of backing going into the second half.
Well, for now, OG will have to be happy with 6-2. Guarantee that they cannot lose the half at the very least. Iberian Soul be working hard to bring back 4 in a row and just to maintain the even starters going into their CT side.
And it's got to be a nice feeling for OG being on the front foot, because I look at their series, I was watching it yesterday, they had to come back from, what, 8-11 down on their CT side of Nuke versus BC game. They were only a few rounds away from being 0-2 in the series because they lost map number 1. So you've now come into a new series, a new day, and you're the one that's on the dominant foot. You're the one that's leading on the scoreline.
Rifles are released out for Iberian Soul to try and fend off OG, taking the half advantage. Adam B's being watched as well by Sasol. I suspect there might be some sort of play. Or timing is absolutely perfect for the Swede. Sasol is going to be smashing his fist for his monitor at that one.
Well, Iberian Soul are just so passive on the T-side line of engagement that it does allow deep lurks for searching. Adam B, the timing is certainly in his favor there. You're right about that one. But it's an opening casualty in which no one is in a trading position. Adam B's got all of that info that there was nothing out towards A ramp, so we can just start blocking on mid. And Davy G needs to try and get this short player of Spook or even the connector player of Crizzen as everybody else starts regrouping towards A with the bomb.
Once again, the outlook is not good for Iberian Soul here. Given some breathing room to enter into the A bomb site, Adam B will be looking for contact and fall away. Davy's been picked up in mid, so now these mid players will start to adjust in from Con. That means there's 4 total on the defensive. Crizzen close, takes his swing. Mopoz will go down. With 2 more to go. Even Martinez just peeking ahead of that AWP. Crizzen with a double, a triple in that sequence, a quadra overall. And just some really great individual rounds coming in from OG players. It was Spook for most of the opening half. Nikodos getting his licks in. Crizzen at 8 frags. That's not even counting Adam B and his impact as well. Just so much talent right now on display.
Now, if we're counting the dates going all the way back to Movistar Riders, before they went to Koi, before they went to Iberian Soul, and then over here now towards Gentlemates, Mopoz has been a part of this roster for over 8 years now. This is a real veteran player, someone that brings a lot of experience, 1,800 maps played on HLTV, plenty of Tier 1 LAN appearances, plenty of major appearances, and he is currently 1-8. You don't quite want that from an experienced player. You want someone that can be consistent, someone that can step up to the challenge when times are getting tough. And for Iberian Soul, notice how many Galils we are seeing in the gun rounds. We're not constantly getting the AKs forward. Now, in the last, I had the AWP out for Martinez, but you're going into round 10 and you don't have 5 AKs across the board. It's a lack of bomb plants.
Don't even have as many AKs as OG have. 4 held over in the previous round. Excellent firepower available with the half advantage now locked in. And shots continuing to land from players at the CT side. Nikodos finding Alex. Spook now trying to move up towards the short access. Martinez leans in. Sasol finds a fight, but Adam B takes him right back. Got a secondary player to deal with. Crizzen will fall down in his place, and Davy G actually gets a double out of it, but cannot deal with Spook playing up on short. 2v2 as a result. Him and Arostos versus Mopoz and Martinez on the retake.
They've got good util, 2 incendiaries between them. Martinez out here towards the barrels, just swings out on the contact, and now it means that Mopoz has to try and clutch the 1v2.
Half HP against each CT though, leaning up. Blind fire coming his way, but not connecting. Incendiaries up, firefight, loss from Arostos. Now Spook's got to try and use that information to his favor, but cannot seem to hold on to the kill. Mopoz will clutch the round, all important for Iberian Soul.
And nicely done there for Mopoz. That was very much needed. That was an uncomfortable round from the outset. The opening kills were struggling out from Rab. It's Davy G that almost does the impossible. He is completely alone there in Con. He has lost his teammate in the process of Sasol, and he's got to fight against all angles. He's almost 360ing, isn't he? Because you're focusing out on the bomb side, you're looking back towards short, you're focusing back up Con again. So for him to get 2 kills, that was the difference maker. That set up the round for Mopoz to get the clutch.
Nice nades on OG already. Going to clap back though as Iberian Soul play the A campaign once again. It worked last time, but will it do this time? Martinez Just out of the jump face angles of Adam B. Now we've seen two walking their way forward around. That will cue the utility from both sides here. OG trying to hold them off. Prism wary of a star man lurking in from mid, and he's right to do so. And also right to hold the position. I thought Iberian Soul could have exploited that, but no, they're going to cancel out.
It's been a lack of pace changing for Iberian Soul. Alex come in with a very composed default on the T side of Mirage, where if they have an aggressive approach, they normally cancel or they freeze. They never go in for quicker pops or quicker execs outside of basically round number 1 of the pistol and round number 2 of the anti-force buy. Once they've got into the gun rounds, they've been very slow and they've been very hesitant. And for OG, with the nade placement to start off the round, it's successful, but that's a lack of info that they don't know about. Now, out on B, Arostos normally doesn't have a huge amount of util. This time, he's got a resmoke from his teammate of Spook, and he's got another smoke to work with as the B site anchor.
Nice re-smoke from Arostos coming down to the perfect timing. They have to push forward of that, and he's the only player directly on the bomb side. They pop out dry. Davy falls, as does Mopos to the head of that smoke, and a triple from Arostos will bring his numbers in line with his teammates, Alex and Sasul, in two very, very far out positions in the bomb. As Adam B can take one. Can't transition over the second, though. Not like it matters. The round is still going the way of OG. 8-3. You said 8-4 would be a very good scoreline to have. They could go even further than that.
And even though we're kind of getting into the mindset that the Gentlemate side is in some really good form, they're getting a lot of 2-0s recently, they've had a good side and run of their recent tournaments, for OG, mate, they've won 13 out of their past 15 best of threes on HLTV. They're not taking many losses either. So when you've got two teams that are both coming into a really important series in good touch, it is just on the day performance. And I think right now for OG, they'll feel that they've been the better team by a country mile.
Not even been that close. Adam B's mocked out Mopos. Follow up from Alex. At least gets a trade into the quick storm up towards that short access, but he doesn't go any further because Spook's going marked. Davy walking right into the trap that Crizon has laid. That drops him. Bomb gets dropped to Martinez. Sasul, knowing exactly where he is as well, will go down soon enough, and OG dominate their way through a 9-3 opening half on Mirage. A massive difference to make up for Iberian Soul. Their only saving grace may well be OG's recent dire T-sides at times on Mirage. But if you're relying on your opponent to go worse for you to do better, and that doesn't seem like a very confident thing in my eyes, Dweg.
No, not at all. OG going very quickly into this B-bomb site. Mopos to stall with the smoke towards the left-hand side.
Teammate out towards short as well. Davi's dealt with very quickly. Mopos at least good for one headshot. Martinez quick on the scene, gets one kill out of it, but he's lost all of his backup. Mopos been mopped up. A second headshot does get lined in. Another one on Nikodos as he dances around the back of the bomb site. Arostos is all that remains. All Iberians in server now. He's in a 1-on-3 with the first man down, but couldn't spot the second. Martinez with a quadra, and that's why he's player to watch.
Excellent shooting coming out from the likes of Martinez. That was a very quick rotation of pure impact. Immediate USP shots coming through to the headshot connections. And for the Iberian Soul side, look, there's a bit of redemption in winning pistol, but I'm looking at this entire bracket. The game against Gun5, against Paravision, GG How, Sangled and Omega, every match they've played so far in this ECL bracket, they have won their map pick, Jay. 3-9 down, winning pistol. Is there a chance? I think there is, but it's probably quite limited.
OG at least had that gap closed up a little bit. It's a start for Iberian Soul, even if that doesn't necessarily indicate a comeback yet. They're harsh on the eco because OG didn't get a bomb plant out of the previous round, didn't get much damage to justify a force buy either, so let this one get mopped up, see what damage they can do with the Deagle of Nikodos, but relying mostly on getting to the rifles in the next round.
Well, I'm very surprised that Martinez didn't buy maybe body armor and then just a USP, because we see sometimes the AWPers protecting themselves, don't they, where they want to try and get a lot of money, get that AWP into the opening gun round. It might have been Alex's call to expect a force buy here from OG in round 14.
And still, the eco gets a kill out of it. Martinez dropping. Alex doesn't go down, however, so should all be good. So in terms of holding on to that M4. Guns to return from the OG side there. First rifle of the second half.
And Iberian Soul have really played the VRS system in the way that Valve envisioned it to be at its very best, and that's to be attending local LANs and going into the grassroots scene. We've seen a lot of local Iberian LANs being attended by Iberian Soul. They made the journey out towards Kettering to play an Epic LAN not that long ago, where they took home the grand prize of first and get themselves the challenge of getting closer towards Tier 1. Davy G struggling with the short boost, but doesn't get punished by the opening casualty.
Prison and Nikodos that strike first instead in mid. Two players down outside of A site as well. Spook trying to follow up onto Saul, and OG instantly in with confidence on their T side. God, it's scary how they just flick a switch and just become this absolute beastly set of individual fraggers. Just overwhelming in an instant. No trades found at all, and they might even get more out of this. Spook's around the corner for Mopos. Mopos does at least hold his life.
Well, imagine being the Gentlemates organization, this new French org that we've not seen enter into CS before. They're well known for rosters in Call of Duty, Rocket League, Fortnite is where their branding is. You've come in, this is now just your second match on HLTV, and you've picked up a squad that is in probably the best form that this team has looked in 2025. Iberian Soul have won 21 out of their past 24 matches on HLTV. Post-player break, they have been extremely successful, and yet they're coming into this series today, and they are struggling. They are feeling the heat against OG.
You better hope if you're our gentle mates, you haven't just picked up a flash-in-the-pan team. All that longevity all you want. Uptick has only been recent, and this will be their second tournament elimination outside of the top 4 with the last 5 events in mind. Final tactical called in by Iberian Soul to try and avoid that fate. As remember, for those of you just joining us, this is a lower bracket matchup. This is your second chance. You lose here, you're done. As you win, you live to fight another day. OG Right now looking on to see that other day. Iberian Soul, not so much. The rifles are back in for the CT side though. Need to convert upon it, need to make a round victory happen now.
You expect between these two teams, whoever fails is just going to instantly come in the second cup, aren't they? And when you've got 4 of these European Cups, I think these kind of names are who we're going to be seeing frequently unless they win it. Everyone with the goal and the expectation to try and get to Pro League. Mopoz has only got a smoke. You'd love to have an incendiary out here on B, especially when it's a gamble. They are not going to be rotating out towards B unless Mopoz maybe gets 2.5 kills. He's going to need a monster hold.
Smoke's involved, flashed off, Molotov the way. So the C-side players blinded Mopoz with 2 kills out of it. And Spook gonna have to trade him. He's successful in that regard. Alex next up to task. Backup is a very long way away. If he gets clear without finding any impact, easy 3v3 post-plant to happen. Takes a fight, loses it. Nikodol's waiting for him to peek out the other side. But Davy G is here quickly, only gets 1 out of it. Krisen gets 2. And it's a Saul very far away from holding this bomb down. It should get planted. He's got no kit for a retake. OG are taking a sweet time with this.
So Saul's expecting some aggression to come from Market. He's expecting a play on the front foot rather than just getting into the post plant. But this is one of the rounds where you almost need to go for it. I think protecting the save isn't worth it at a 5-10 score. You've got to have the confidence that you can win this 1v2.
Bomb has been planted.
So Saul will go and try. Just missed the boat on both individuals. Krisen about to peek. Oh, missing his chance, but second face will take him down. Triple in the round for the captain. And now holds top frag position on OG. An 11-5 top score position for OG. Money is not great for Iberian Soul. No savings accounted for. I mean, it's a forced buy for round number 17. Either that or Eco to try and go the whole 7-round comeback to OT, and just a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Something I've been seeing quite a lot of recently. It's reality for the Soul.
It's a real shame because that was probably one of the best anchor holds you're going to see in the entire best of 3. An MP9 with a single smoke getting a multi-frag. And it's still not enough. Mopoz knows that on a better gun round, with maybe a teammate in sight, that's a round victory. OG getting peppered by this bit of unique setup. You had double short and double window to start the round, and a lot of spam damage is coming in towards the T side. Adam B down to 39, Spook at 31.
Almost the first kill for Nikodos, though, seeing the SMG out from Mopoz. Then he starts coming out of the apartment. So Spook actually does get that opening kill. So Saul goes down outside a connector in the A-bomb site campaign. Davy G is going to start moving. Nikodos sees him breathing forward, reacts quickly and well enough. Now it's just Mopoz's SMG to deal with basically almost the entire T-side force. He's traded places with 1 man, though. And this could get interesting here. They're storming up short in the meantime. Killer Martinez, SMG strikes against 1, but only 1. Arostos takes him, and Alex is all alone. 5-7 in hand, trying to front for that AK wherever it dropped off to. Just can't find it. And either way, it was low HP, so it wouldn't have had a chance. 12-5, 7 map points for OG. What has been a stunningly good map to start off the series for them. Iberian Soul have really been left out to dry on this map pick.
Well, unfortunately, it just wasn't a good enough first half, was it? I mean, 3-9 down on your map pick. It doesn't matter how the discussion goes about the veto of you picking into something you don't normally pick. At this level, in a lower bracket match against a good side like OG, you can't go down 3-9. It's just too large of a scoreline deficit. And we're seeing the ramifications now. 12-5, fast, accelerated pace out towards connector, and it's obliteration. And the CTs are struggling against this pace completely.
The weaponry, don't have the numbers, don't have the position, don't have anything really to work with in this round. Martinez and Mopoz will do their best, but their best is not enough. 13-5, domination on Mirage for OG as they take map 1. What was the Iberian Soul pick? Yes, but you mentioned the veto process and how it was hindered by not getting a strong map right out of the gate. Well, I think you could call that anything but strong there.
And they'll be disappointed about map 1 showing. I've still got faith that there's a bounce back in either direction of both teams. I think when you look at a best of 3 where you've got 2 competing teams towards the top of tier 2, right? They're both within the top 30 on VRS. Even if there's an off showing on a map pick, you expect a better showing, a wake-up call to come into map 2. Now, there's no denying OG is still going to be heavy favorites, and they probably should close in 2. But for Iberian Soul, that will be the message to say, right, that wasn't good enough. That was a subpar performance. Let's go in with a fresh attitude. Let's go into map 2, and let's try and see if we can recover this series. Let's try and see if we can force it to a decider.
Yeah, I'm certainly hoping that we see a bit more of the individual performance out of the Iberian Soul, because they are up against it. Last time we saw our second map brought out against the OG side, it ended 13-4 for OG. That was the Ancient during that ESL Pro League qualifier position. So a lot of work to do if you are going to be able to bring it all the way back. We'll find out how much work they have done after this very short break. Don't go anywhere. It's Ancient, our second map, after this.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it Oh, I could run this town. Oh, I could run this town. Oh, I could run this town. How will I get out of the jungle? Everybody wanna stop me. 10 more steps up the mountain. Now everybody's looking for me. Spend my life in the desert till something changed inside of me. Now I'm flying over oceans. Everybody looking at me. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Full power, get louder. I'ma get stronger, just watch me. Full power, get louder. I'ma get stronger, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. When they hear my song, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. I can run this town. Somebody give me the key. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. No more doubt about me. Oh, I can run this town. Don't you know I got the
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes. And you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring a roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
Well, if map 1 was anything to go by, map 2 may be a quick one. OG dismantled of Iberian Soul, effectively Iberian Soul's own map pick of Mirage. 13-5 if you missed it. Ancient up next, where it ended 13-4 in the last outing for the OG side. And among some other very impressive results at the exact same time for the OG cap. I'm looking at them saying that on paper it should be 2-0, Dweg. Before the break, we did say, however, that we are hoping that we see some better performances from Iberian Soul overall.
Now, when I look at OG's results on Ancient recently, yeah, they look quite promising. But if you look a little bit deeper, you'll notice that they've had some really competitive Ancients when they're starting on the T side and when it's their map pick. Basically, the entire bracket of Exhort and then out here in ECL, they've been picking Nuke. So the times that they have picked Ancient was against, what, 33? And that went into overtime. Then they got 5 rounds in their first half on their T side. They also picked it against Fnatic in a quarterfinal, which went all rounds in regulation, went 13-11. First half T side was a 3-9 deficit. So there might be a little bit of worry about starting on the T side with maybe some early momentum from winning pistol, winning opening gun round if you are Alex and co. So that's going to be something in the back of at least Krisen's mind out on OG.
Certainly got a few things obviously to discuss in terms of obviously the team's formation, obviously with the new addition and all. And I noticed some things have changed within the OG sort of lineup. So I'm holding out hope that obviously that they'll fix that in terms of the long term. I think in the short term though, they look very impressive. And I'm just thinking about the individual prowess we saw from these players throughout the course of map number 1. Just some rounds they turned it up and they've really turned on the heat. Even Krisen topping out a 1.88 rating on that last map alone. So there's a lot of fear to deal with if you are the Iberian Soul side. And OG will start things off on T, of course. We'll see whether that will be a hindrance or a help to either side. Pistols are live.
Well, this is now the most played map in the pool for Martinez since joining back up with his old teammate. So surely from that point of view, that's a promising sign here for Iberian Soul.
Adam B leads OG in 1-for-1, 2-for-1, 3-for-1 trades with Alex and Davy lining up with the Julie sets. The USP gets a triple overall. And there's a lockout round for Iberian Soul this time. Pistol win goes their way.
And look at their recent results. The last 3 months on HLTV features 15 wins and 8 losses versus just the 9 wins and 5 losses for the OG organization. OG will know that there is going to be a challenge in every one of these best of threes. When you go deeper into the bracket and you start facing those staunch competition, it's never going to be easy. You're not going to get the sitter best of threes. Iberian Soul had a good bait and switch. The Julie's out from reverse default, do a lot of damage, and OG protect themselves in round 2. Don't decide to force up.
And you got more positive as SMG looking to prod in towards his lane angle early spot OG players who are once again on the eco as it was in the last half of the T-side start. On Mirage, they lost the pistol, didn't get a bomb plant, eco off the back of that, and then rifles came out and they dominated their way to the rest of the win. A pattern that they would love to repeat, that Iberian Soul would love to crush here and now. Especially when this first half may well prove to be what makes or breaks this series for them. Fortunately, no breaking to be done against the CT side here now. In the eco round, it's the anti-eco weapons. I'll get the W.
Yeah, only last month I got to see Iberian Soul live competing out on Ancient when they participated in Epic LAN. I saw their matchup in the upper bracket final versus Arbe, the Danes. They had a really tough time and then rematched against them out in the grand final and had a much better Ancient. And this is definitely one of the maps in the pool that, while it's not a map pick from them, we see opposition picks, and we see third map deciders being floated. And Alex and co will look at Ancient and say, yeah, it is one of our stronger maps in the pool. You might even say that Ancient is stronger than Mirage when you look at the recent performances.
Again, you got some significant wins on the board to think about. We'll say for Iberian Soul, you mentioned that the way that RB series, or that those RB series is rather, went down, obviously, with the 13-4 lost with 13-9 return, which does echo similarly eerily to how this series went out. Again, 13-4 last time out against OG in the rematch here today. Although, once again, the difference is caliber of teams, are they? Probably not within the same ballpark as OG or Iberian Soul today.
Well, for Iberian Soul, every series has been a 2-0 win in the bracket outside of their one loss versus Paravision. They got a 2-0 versus Gun 5, a 2-0 versus GG Howard, 2-0 versus Sangul, and then their series that they played yesterday, 2-0 versus Nemega. Now, I know Nemega have lost Way and they've lost Flammus, but that's still a pretty consistent top-end Tier 2 team. That's still a squad that we look at that can push, I would say, to qualifications to land. They can push for trophies at this level. So to get a 13-4 and 13-10 back-to-back, we know that they're in a good stead, and we know that Map 1 was an off performance. We know that it's not up to the par of the expectation of what we normally see from them. So this is all about channeling good CT side protocols, a good understanding to force this series into that decider, because I'd love to see Nuke. We're talking about the #1 map in the pool for both teams.
Here come these guns in for OG. Pop up from Davi, takes his fight, and Spook is not ready for him, playing anti-flash. The smokes and Molotovs coming in from the Soul. Disrupt OG's entire line. Crizzen is solo HP and revealed past this wood cubby corner. Caught off by Mopos on his extension, and it's a 5-on-3. Iberian Soul doing well to control this part of the map. Nikodos working off timing alone. 2 to find, 2 to go down. Adjust back for a third player who doesn't exist there, a Ramp, but Alex is still holding the defensive line, and Nikodos is hunting his man. The Dane wraps his corner, sees his shoulder, and Arostov steals the kill. So Saul's at least known about. Martinez also chiming in. Nikodos tagged to 10 points of health. Gonna go back for that bomb as well in KV. Has no idea where it's a Saul's reposition to, and in from Ramp, he catches him in the open to maintain the third round for Iberian Soul.
Well, that was legitimately mental of what Nikodos has attempted there. 3v5 deficit, no teammate in sight, no util to get through the doors. That is such a risk to make that play. Rather than slowing the round down and regrouping, he just walks out of the B doors. So I'd like to say that the round was well, at least should have been over from this point onwards. And that is Mopos knowing that he should have been able to get the refrag. Nikodos unfortunately getting dinked and not quite getting the read onto Saul out there towards Cave. Excellent start here for Iberian Soul.
And just not enough funds for OG to invest heavy again. They'll half buy instead. Oh, Spook's call on timing. Give it as good as you get, lads. Happened in the last map against Iberian Soul. This time it favours them. Well, the Dean and Nikodos at least picks one back, though, so it does maintain a 4-on-4. Everything else is probably going against OG. Weapon advantage, obviously. Iberian Soul has that. Man advantage is 4-on-4. With the health across the T side, they are very heavily tagged up.
And it's funny, when I look back at the previous season of ECL, back at season 49, that was horrendous for Iberian Soul. They finished last in their group. They lost to Z10, Arc Red, Bait, and Spirit Academy. The only team that they beat was Rush B. So already, this feels like a much better bracket run than what we've seen previously.
This is Saul's prods. And she does get overwhelmed on the part of the OG side. Bomb plant is not going to be allowed as Davi gets involved and Mopos will close against the masked man. So Iberian Soul continuing to keep OG's money on the ropes. 4-0 to the start. No bomb plant bonuses in any of these rounds. And at least savings coming up together for a rifle buy on OG's part. Start winning some rounds soon enough. Iberian Soul only 2 rounds away from claiming minimums.
And I'm sure Iberian Soul would like to do what the old double pony looking for org side was able to do and get signed by an organization and push on further. Nikodos trying to see if he can push out from the anti-rush util from elbow, but before he could even take a contact, he's down to 45.
Well, if Iberian Soul, much like 3D Max, can not only sign on to an org and try and push for tier 1, but also stay there. OG losing Crizzen in the opening fight. Once again, Mopos extending past lane. This lane control from Iberian Soul has been a major sticking point for OG. Adam B tagged, Nikodos being tagged as well. Low health once again being another issue for the OG camp. Mopos doesn't even get traded. They're trying their best, they just can't seem to get it.
While that was an unintentional miss-smoke down there from the B doors, it has been very successful. And Krisen sees that as a moment of opportunity to exploit, to work on the gap of it, to get a good timing, and Mopos is just holding on the other side. Now, while that's happening, look at Sasul. He has cleared all of A main. He's seen nothing at all. Martinez is holding deep red with the AWP so they can triple on B. It's a perfect read. It's a perfect setup here for Iberian Soul.
Adam and Spook about to move. First fire of the M4, 3 on the cross. Alex going 1-for-1 with Adam B's casualty. Spook still being seen. Eventually gets dealt with the same. On that backstab, won't come into any fragging impact. They've got all the info they need. Bomb tap once for Aristos. Got Davi trying to go for a knife inside of that smoke. Bomb plant can be secured this time. Martinez close. Sasul comes in with the flank and finally closes out on Nikodos. There's a good tap for Aristos, but no more than that. The defuse will come through for Iberian Soul, who are now 5 in a row.
Well, we saw a slow start to come out from the likes of Alex and Co out there on map 1, and they just couldn't ever really get themselves back into the game. The score got to 6-2. It then just started to snowball, and eventually around that marker, you felt that the game was done, that the scoreline was too far. I'm now looking here at OG, and I'm seeing very low numbers. Players are not quite creating opening kills. And it's mainly because Iberian Soul have been on the front foot of just constantly taking space, haven't they? They've been pressurizing elbow by taking mid heavily. They're getting players up there towards shelf. Mopos in particular is constantly pressurizing bottom ramp out there towards the B doors. So Krisen can't even, a lot of the time, get out of B doors. They're not even getting into bucket or getting down there towards cave. They're kind of being held back and they're trying to retake space. So for OG, they might need to fight fire with pace. They might need to start accelerating slightly quicker into lane and contesting map control in the first 15 to 20 seconds of the round rather than giving a lot of respect and retaking control.
First tactical called in by OG in this map. Don't recall them having any in the last map, not that they needed to. Last time, I believe that Lambert has spoken to his team throughout the course of this series. Pretty rightfully so, OG. Being a bit desperate to get to a round here. It's starting to play out, not too dissimilar to how the previous map played, just in the other direction. Kill found Mopos that starts things off on Krisen. No trades for OG. No matter what they do, they just can't seem to find an angle.
Well, they use 2 mollies to just protect the ramp aggression. So when they start scaling towards cave, they can't even put a molly towards Mopos because they've used all of them. Adam B scaling. Nikodos trying to watch out for the ramp aggression. And even though he's in an off angle, he still can't deal with Alex's press.
Adam finally get a trade out of that one, but now needs to play supportive. He's got a U2 on his pouch and everything, so it might be more so beneficial towards the T side to play him back, but going to push in from the CT side. Actually going to completely pass the legs of Aristos, so this could be an interesting piece of misdirection play if B still ends up being the target, especially. Lean out from Adam B. Spook watching for Martinez's extension. The player could get caught towards spawn. They think it might end up being a B wrap now. Spook, here's the footsteps, flash forward. Awkward spray from Mopos. Does come forward in the end. Aristos now only starting to make his way up the ramp. Fight on the AWP, forcing him back from position. He'll get a bomb plant out of this. But it's a 1v3 defend off the post plant and not even get the bomb down in the first place. The last tick, Martinez lands the headshot with the AWP. And it's 6-0 now for Iberian Soul.
Well, there's no better feeling than this if you're Alex, because not only are you out-calling them, but everyone is just hitting shots. And we had a map number 1 where numbers were pretty much low. I mean, almost everyone was, on single-digit kill counts by the end of Mirage. You come into Ancient, and everyone's just frying. Everyone's getting multi-frags, they're getting opening kills, we're not even taking many deaths. And the AKs, they're constantly being saved in, and that's what OG had happen to them in the first half.
Without the rounds to respond to, it was 5-0 before Iberian Soul started on Mirage. 6-0 now, and OG are yet to open up a round. Crizzen yet to frag. A huge drop-off from a player who was top of the board in that last map-up. Finally opens up this round against Mopos, but Alex and Davi good to trade back on both A and B. Low HP players across Spook and Arostos. Saul can deal with one of them. Nikolos is Deagle. Good to maintain towards 2 players on Iberian Soul, but now Arostos has got to do the rest of the heavy lifting. Bombs on his back. Tries to find a fight on Martinez, lands him in the shoulder, and doesn't go any further than that. The repeat of the AWP lands the 7th round of Iberian Soul. Half game without a single concession. OG start to scratch their heads and rack their brains figuring out what they have to do here.
They're struggling because they're losing a lot of fights, and unfortunately, as a caller, there's only so much you can do, can't you? You can adapt to a setup, you can come in with different timings, you can come in with a slower pacing or a quicker round, but if you're just losing Angels, there's not a lot that you can adapt about that. Saul in towards mid, no aggression whatsoever. Davi G fast out towards A main with Martinez holding with the AWP behind him.
Adam moves, finds a fight and wins it. Arostos is at least ready for Davi G to make his move up. This time they accounted for that. Martinez AWP, however, close quarters. Adam B goes down. He faces aggressive for another individual. Nikodos finds Alex at red. And it's a 4-on-2. OG still losing players in various angles. Nikodos with the latest, however, still comes up to keep OG's advantage. Bomb gonna make his way to the B bomb site. They know where Martinez's last known location was, over on A. So B is the obvious choice. The bomb will go down, and the AWP probably doesn't have a retake here.
Even though that round is unsuccessful for Iberian Soul, I love the call. I love the confidence. You're up 7-0. You realize that they're just struggling to gain any sort of map control. So you play with high confidence. You go in for an aggro play towards A, and yeah, you're being watched. You end up losing fights. So what? You've got a mindset where you are just outclassing them completely. And for Martinez, you get yourself out towards the AK, try and face off against a couple of duels, try and get the AWP back. And nothing fought against you, but they are going to try and put that late pressure on. They are going to try and see if they can drop the AWP.
Ball looking the wrong way as Nikolos peeks up, landing in the side of the head. Triple for him in the round. And finally, a big individual moment for OG, who prior to this round, scoring less kills than even the bottom fraggers of the Iberian Soul side. It's an important one to win to get them started. They have to now follow it up because it was not an easy feat. Iberian Soul were hot on their heels and calling in a tactical pause as well. We'll discuss the specifics of the buy-up here. OG have at least done their damage, so take their time with this investment and they won't get away 100% clean. Limitations and utility in a small amount. No helmets will be a good thing, but the fact you have to make that decision is a case in point as to how weak the economy is sometimes.
But I'm even thinking about the coaching perspective of Lambert. I mean, he's got more maps played on HLTV than Adam B and Arostos do. This is a guy that, okay, didn't have a very successful career, had a long career in Tier 2, and he's got to find a way in any of the tacticals being called from the opposition or themselves to get this scoreline recoverable, to give themselves a chance in the second half.
Davi checks for Crizzen, can't double up, so Saul at least takes Adam B down elsewhere. Still got Nikolos in the elbow, going to try and chase down his player in at mid. To kill foul against Spook. Alex goes falling. 3-on-2 situation. Iberian Soul again coming out on top in these very early round fights. Took only 30 seconds to get to this position here.
Now, this is a very rare sighting of how Ancient CT side is played in the current meta. I think when Ancient first came into the pool in CSGO, we saw a lot of lane aggression, a lot of plays up towards shelf, down from ramp. But we don't see it anymore. And Iberian Soul, it's been entertainment completely.
OG suffered as a result of that. 1v3 for Arostos as he just lost his teammate. Just doesn't know where these CTs are coming in from. Bomb plant. Now he waits. Martinez and Alex are closing in. He's covered off from that ramp entrance. He's going to start looking back there now. But it's a fight. Headshot gained, but Martinez uses the wood wall to wall bang through and take the man down. 8 on the board for Iberian, so an instant responsive to OG once again.
Well, the only thing that is in my mind right now, Jay, is surely whoever wins the knife round going into Nuke wins the best of 3. I mean, let's look at what we've seen. Map 1, Map 2, extremely one-sided first halves. Nuke, CT side, you get that? Is that just the golden ticket? I mean, could it be 3 maps in a row in which we just get blowouts in every single half?
I mean, last time it was 16-14, because if you're talking about blowouts in terms of the map ups, remember the last best of 3 had blowouts for the respective map picks, and then Nuke went down to overtime. So I'd say the strengths of both sides have really come out. You mentioned how it's a good map that both teams want to float into the third, and that's what we got. Maybe that's what we'll get as well, OG. Certainly a very long way off of taking any sort of 2-0 in this series, and you doubt at this point that they can even make it happen.
It's just the lack of plants. I think that's been my biggest issue with their T side, is that they've just been losing so much within the first 30 to 60 seconds. They don't even have util or players to execute, do they? They're just contacting sides because they've just lost so much.
Need to find ways of dealing with this Iberian soul aggression, and it's just not working for them. Adam B down in mid, exposed to the backpool in the open, with no teammates to train him, no support to back him up. 2 men in for Iberian soul. Martino's credited with the kill and an advantage that they can just be happy with from here.
OG just trying to get the individuals in to create something. But then in the middle of the round, there's not a huge amount of overfighting. Alex has got a little bit of an off angle, but he's got a teammate with him. Mopoz to try and set util to get that M4 in for another kill.
Nikodol's desperate to get them into this A bomb side, desperate to get a trade frag, if nothing else. Davi. Scene of his shoulder. Nikodol's going to start to make his moves up. Smoke to get beaten ahead of. No one checks tree. They do in the end to Saul. Overwhelmed. Davi's only good for the 1 kill, but done a ton of damage to the next 2 players. Spook, especially on 2 HP. 3 on 3 is where OG stand at.
Got a really late wraparound in from A main. So Martinez and Alex need to basically distract as much as possible towards CT and out to Temple in hopes that that MP9 late is not going to get cleared.
Burst of the SMG from range catches Nikodos off guard. Suddenly this round becomes a lot more difficult for OG. And then moves up, Spook to the bomb, go over to the defuse. Spook gonna wait for his chance to strike. The sprays coming in from Crizzen don't quite land. Spook gets a kill out of it! And Crizzen and Spook can just about combine to get those last couple players from beyond that smoke. Second for the OG side, trying to build back into a 4th round to close to half. They need to get the next 2 though.
I think you can give all the credit in the world to that tree check. Tree has not been a position that's been played at all. And yet the 1 round in Mopoz playing up there gets cleared. We know how dominating that position can be, both against donut splits and out from A main. If Tree doesn't get cleared, you just know that round's over, don't you? You know that Mopoz is just cleared up.
OG. Now get a bit of a lucky break. There's no rifles in for Iberian Soul this time. The Eco Pistols allow a freebie round, a little bit of catharsis perhaps after all the struggles they've faced in this map. A 3rd round to their board, making their best case of 8-4 still on. They have to get it over in this next round here.
Yeah, OG have given themselves a very small window of opportunity. But at least getting a harsh reset going into round 10 and then the consistent effect of that going into 11 and then even 12, you'll be happy with. Anytime you're in a scoreline deficit that's as large as this is, and you go into a round 12 bye where even if there's an AWP out, there's no armor, there's an MP9 for Mopoz, there's a FAMAS out for Sasul, it's the best chance you have of getting an 8-4.
Just gonna make it happen. Early fights that tend to be taken by SMGs at range. Orpa Martinez, though, springing the trap. Adam B acting off the back of that contact. The kill comes in quick. The HEs do not do nearly as much towards Mopos, although Crizzen went blank for a casualty, perhaps. Mopos been waiting for him. Backs away, good shot.
Yeah, out on the B bomb site, Davi G can't block. He's only got a single HE, and he's playing out on an off angle towards long. So he needs to try and just basically hope that B's not being a target. Now, while that's happening, there's the red search. They're trying to clear as much of mid control as possible.
Kill against Aros Dos gives Alex an Iberian sole man advantage again. Davi holds his spray together, even if he did struggle for a moment. The bomb now on the back of the site. Get planted. Alex spamming down. No ideas of how close the game really is. Fight on Davi. Adjusts back to the double. That's a hero-like play that may still bring OG into this round. 2v2, making it one as Nikodos goes down. And Crizzen knows exactly where they're both at. Fight on the first play. Adjustment's not quite as good. And so Saul will make it a kill. A double in the round and a 9-3 half for Iberian Soul this time to hold.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window. But now it's
How familiar does this look, except maybe a mirror image? 9-3 for Iberian Soul to compare to OG's 9-3 in the turn of the half in the last map up. Things are looking good for the Iberian team, the Spaniards, to make their way into map number 3. All they have to do is close out for 3 more rounds.
And it's going to be quick, very fast. Now, the Donut players are already hearing this A aggression, and Nikodos is going to try and repause.
This Peach and a stabilizer headshot doesn't quite land it. It's Spook instead to draw out first blood in the half. Nikodos gets 2 in the end, and a triple overall. A quadra up for grabs against Davy G. He's burning past that Molotov, swings out wide and does go down. Davy's getting given 1v1 though, forced on a reload. Adam B will take in an OG. Wow, talk about similarities from the last map up. Once again, a pistol win when they're on the back foot. Can they break the trend that Iberian Soul set of not finding enough momentum behind that pistol?
Well, it's a shame that a series that's as contested between these two teams at the height of Tier 2 has gone down in the way that it has. I mean, how frequently do we see an 0-5 and an 0-7 in back-to-back map? It's just unheard of. You normally see competitive edges from the get-go. You don't see these long and extended round streaks from either squads. OG will look at things and say, look, the scoreline difference is large, but we have to take it 1 round at a time. Iberian Soul looked quite threatening, I would say, with some of their anti-force buy rounds on the T side of Mirage. Alex in particular, when he's working some of the Galil entries, was something that I remember. So watch out to see how dangerous this kind of buy can be in round 14.
OG took the pacifist route when it came down to the force buys. Iberian Soul, the complete opposite. Tech 9s won't quite get away with much here against Spook. Double found, triple up for grabs on low HP. Eventually Alex will go down. The SMG of Prison will be here with extra support of Nikodos. Martinez will fall to Spook regardless, so 4 kills for him. Saul can't do much. All 5 alive for the OG side. Iberian Soul can't afford to buy again, so this should be number 6 instead.
Cheeky little pocket strat there from Alex. Try and force them on a fake that it's a very quick execute out there towards B. And they targeted the right player. You've got, what, 3 pistols all going aggressive into Donut. They just can't get the trade against Spook. If that's a 1-for-1 trade, it's a very different round. OG will look at round 15 and say, this is now a chance to start building up money. Let's not lose anybody. Let's keep 5 alive. We are not going to be up against many upgrades at all.
See how many heads these Deagles can claim. Not many in the case of Martinez and Davi. 2 more men out towards the A entrance. Aristos could get caught with U2 in hand. Indeed he does. Can they take him down though? And that's the important question. The answer to that question is no. Even Mopo's caught from beyond that smoke. Kristen didn't even realize he was taking a spray. Alas, OG with number 6 to the 9 of Iberian Soul. 3 rounds of the good. Rifles are inbound for the T's now, their first of the half.
Now, when you look at the ratings for the 2 highest for OG in the last 3 months of Ancient, it's Adam B at a 1.28 and Nikodos at a 1.24. You expect a little bit more from the Swede and then maybe a bit more impact out of Nikodos when the AWP starts getting involved. 3 taking mid aggressively. Run boost unsuccessful, so Nikodos doesn't get out there towards Shelf, and Davy G looked as if he was going to get a double entry from Elbow.
Nikodos gets past him out on the trade. Spray and Mopo's good to find 2 of those players, and damage on the first, kills to the second. Now Nikodos is in a very awkward position as the only player on the A defensive. The extension from Krisen's come forward towards the B doors, but I don't know if that's going to be much help towards them now. The riflers really need to hold their nerve, and only one can.
Nikodos can't even block with Util. He's got nothing left. So, yes, Adam B is on rotation out from CT, but this is almost a miracle round for OG to win.
Especially Nikodos about to get spotted by Saul. Kill found easy. Adam B, 3 seen. 2 go down. Actually, almost. Molotov hurt Sims Saul finishing off the job. Krisen's backstab now becomes the linchpin element that needs to win them the clutch. 1v2 for him. And they'll come as individuals as well. No one's considering that A main is a possibility for the man, although Saul tucks himself in at the right timing. Kept away just in case. Now his head's been seen. Did he spot Prison in return? I think he might have just done utility on the way forward. On range, look at Donut. Just moves back. Look close quarters, and Saul will deal with him. Iberian Soul are on the board on T side.
Excellent entering pathing from both the first contact to elbow, but then Mopos out there from Shelf. He just obliterates the donut players. He gets an easy kill on the lip of the smoke, and then for Nikodos, he's just so damn low from that point onwards. Now, OG felt as if they contested mid, but didn't hold it, did they? Like, they contest the 1-for-1, but rather than being in a position where you can keep fighting elbow, keep fighting towards Shelf, they just retreat, and maybe that slight hesitation of that retreat is what cost them the round.
They got damn close in the 1v to the 2v2. Excellent work to drag the trades together, but it was not enough to hold them in the advantage. And OG need to figure out other approach once again, as it was throughout the course of their T side and all. And the blind sprays ain't going to help you, Aristos. Teammate will try a similar story, and actually Nikodos does get away a little bit better against Davi G, so there's a start for the Dane. Smoke's clearing out towards main, but no further push from Iberian Soul.
Well, you would expect a molly to go out towards default. Everyone's making sure they don't give away the shadow. That's why they're hugging on the white wall. Krisen out towards Cheetah with a bait and switch of Nikodos. A is very open, and Nikodos, being with the info that they see nothing out towards lane, doesn't give a huge indication to Arostos or Smoke.
Other than telegraph a hit, I don't know what does. Counter incendiaries are there. Mid's going to get cleared out by the rotating CT players. So now can focus their efforts on the ace site, and Arostos may have blinked for a moment, but he got those 2 kills in. Spook also follows it up. Does go down in trade, but Martinez needs to get these fights in 1-by-1 fashion. He gets 2 of them in that case, but Adam B wins the 3rd of the fights, and OG will fend off Iberian Soul. Build back into this map up brick by boring brick. The deficit is still 3.
Nikodos is in a position in which he could be granted an AWP, but he opts that he doesn't want it. And I think that's one of the bonuses that OG has, is that if we're looking at AWPers that can rifle, I'd probably say that Nikodos is one of the very best that we've got in Tier 2. He's got an excellent M4 and AK behind him, and very frequently we see in certain series he just stops AWPing. He just continues to rifle instead.
The automatics work for you. And why fix what's not broken? Iberian Soul, set piece in towards the B bomb site. Counter util will be there for Adam B to block off the ramp entrance. He'll spray manically, but get very little as he's out of vision himself. Nikodos a little bit better off. As Alex goes down from beyond that smoke. Krisen so wary of players coming in from the K position. Actually run right past him, so Davi even takes out his own teammate as an exchange of that. So Saul trying to get trading, but it's a 3-on-2, making it 1 with his teammate down. He'll find 1 pick against Nikodos, but flanks are coming in. 2 CT players are moving up, and Spook is there to spook him out of his sight. An 8th of the board of OG. Iberian Soul. Bomb plant bonus to bolster to a very strong buy, and Max loss bonus also kicking into effect, so be looking at some money flourishings, if you will, but no money troubles for OG means that they can respond in kind.
It's a good protocol there from OG. They're very defensive against the quicker play into B. They have a bit of spam out from long and short, but for the most part, they give the bomb site. They give the respect of the space and then just retake quickly after. Iberian Soul, in any of these ecos, you're looking for danger of the round victory, aren't you? You're not worried about the bomb plant bonus. You're not worried about how many players you're taking down. You're worrying about which one is going to be your 11th. Out towards mid, Davi G is attempting an opener, but even on the scale, on the edge of that molly and the smoke, there's just nothing seen. There's no aggressive approach.
Damage is returned towards 2 CT players, but Davi is on a solo hunt out here towards mid. Naturally, may make his way through the smoke. Spook better be ready for this. So wary. Davi starts leaning. He's going to get caught. Teammates out in the open of the bomb site. Martinez can catch Arostos. So it returns to a 4-on-4. The CT backup will get here to attack from CT spawn. Iberian Soul locked out for now, but they are out of utility. They need to hold them off directly. Kills are coming in though. Nikodos, his orb returns on Martinez and doubles up to Sasul. That's all important. Mid is being watched, but no one's there. Alex and Mopos in the back of the site. Alex seen, but Nikodos finds another peeking kill. A triple for him, in fact. Spook on the defuse, and Nikodos chases Mopos away. OG, thick, fast, short, sharp staccato. Bish, bash, bosh, that's number 9.
It's one of the highest rated maps in the entire pool for the likes of Nikodos. His best map is Dust 2, but I'd say the numbers are overinflated because it's only been 3 officials that they've played. When we're referencing the best maps of the pool, we're looking at the ones that are getting the most amount of officials on it. And for Nikodos, we're seeing some of this quality right now. Excellent X Factor. That was a tidy looking round there for Iberian Soul because no dedicated A player on the CT side. They... yes, don't deal with Spook out from Donut, but look at Martinez. They're scaling out of A main. Mate, he's holding the CT line. He's waiting for the cross to come out on the rotation. And what does he find? He gets a Rostos that's rotating from Red Room towards Spawn. Yeah, you can say that there wasn't util on the post plant. That's always going to be a bit more difficult. But even trying to play out from Tree, Big Box, it felt like no matter where they were, they're just getting farmed by Nikodos coming from CT.
OG have nearly completed this comeback.
Well, you've gone from 0-7 to 9-10. That is a hell of a recovery.
9-3 half of that. Iberian Soul has scored a single round. On this T side, where have you gone, Iberian Soul? HE damage, Molotov damage, blind sprays of Prison not quite coming up towards the lane access. And at least the lane control that Iberian Soul have had doesn't quite have as much impact on T side as it did towards the CT basis. Smokes close from Prison will block them from making progress in towards his cheater angle for now. Oh, got close to catching Mopos. Only held it for another second longer than maybe that would have been the opening kill.
Even with how successful this CT side has been, it's been completely different in terms of styles. OG have been a lot more defensive. They've been retaking map control, whereas Iberian Soul, it was just chaos, wasn't it? They were just running. They were just taking elbow. They were taking ramp. They were getting out of cave. It tells you that different styles can work for different applications. Nikodos with the AWP is waiting for a jiggle, waiting for a scale, any kind of contact towards ramp. And Spook and Co, him and a Rostos, they're going to try and clear out A main space. Now, while that's happening, Adam B needs to focus on Red Room because there is an exploitation there, but they can stack 3 players towards B.
An extension towards main is going to start to come up good for Spook. He's going to start moving into the backstab and getting information out. Shadow seen. Nikodos holds his nerve and lands it perfectly. Sasul is down. Krizen's flash blinded. Adam B is going to get picked up. Nikodos is Tech 9. Good for close quarters combat. Dabby G gets traded by Krizen and Martinez brings it into a 2v2. Now Spook's backstab going to have to turn up to back up his teammate. Coming in from the back lines is Arostos. And they have no idea about Spook. They're going to be exposed here for Martinez. Mopos could also go down quickly depending on how long Spook holds his trigger finger for. Capitalize on the first man headshot gain. Mopos now exposed to that front wall. Seeing the flashbang blinding him off. He can't take a shot back. They're going to close in on him. He's a goner. Not long for this world. Flashbangs involved. Smoke down towards the bomb's position. Is Spook going to hold the 5-second stick? Seems like it. Arostov's going to get in the way, go for the kill. And OG coordinate that extremely well. Iberian Soul went from out-fragging and out-calling to getting out-fragged and out-called across a single map. We're 10 apiece. OG are back in the game.
Well, if you are Alex, fundamentally, that's probably the best execute that you can ask for. You are running into a B-bomb site where there's 3 individuals and you've lost first contact of the AWP straight away towards ramp. That was excellent. Trades were on point. Timing was really good. Spacing was tight. And you still can't win the round. That's frustration if you're a caller. That's getting in your own heads and thinking, lads, that was the round. That was the one that should have at least got us towards 11. You take another tactical. And for OG, I mean, right now, for Nikodos, he's getting a kill every single round in the second half. It doesn't matter if he's donut, if he's out on A, if he's towards ramp, he's constantly getting one. And I'm not sure what you do about that if you're Iberian Soul. Yeah, you can trade him 1-for-1, but if he just keeps putting up numbers, he's going to keep being a threat, and he's going to be the winning condition to where OG gets so many rounds in this second half.
$10 apiece. OG. Just back in this matchup, Iberian Soul. Just desperate to get kills out of that one. A reckless move for the smoke on Mopos, costing him his life in an instant. Alex also tagged low. It's starting to turn into disaster for the Spaniards, of which 2 are moving up towards red. Uncontested by OG, at least not directly.
And OG are becoming the retake kings, Jay. This is 3 rounds in a row that we're seeing post-plants and retakes. Mate, I don't even know if the bomb's going to go down this time. With Mopos falling and Alex on low HP, this might be a round that the bomb doesn't even get close to a bomb site.
And they're going to go for Nikodos, and you just think how stellar he's been, both in terms of defensive and on retakes. He got that 3 kills with the AWP on retake at one point, which is something you should never see in Sensible CS. OG... Oh, actually do lose their AWP part with Alex ready for Spooks prod forward. Arostos here in 2 sets of footsteps though, 2 to line up. 1 and both to go down, just about though. Felt like he might have whiffed it on the second play, but Martinez's shot misses. Arostos turns back to the bomb site against a Saul and all, and Davy G being tagged up as he gets even more kills, or even more kill potential out of that round. Davy G doesn't even know there's a player outside of main. Chrisen's going to hold his position and get his kill, get his piece of the pie, but Arostos credited himself for the round win, which puts OG in the lead.
And imagine being Alex, okay? You've gone into the B bomb site, you've been satisfied with the protocol of the timing on the execute, you don't win the round, you go into the next, bro, why is there 2 Donut? Like, you've just caught off the AWP in CT, you've caught off Spook at the back of Donut. Your mindset, accelerate Donut, go towards A. Maybe a Rostos is out there towards A, somewhere around big box, default, if there is playing a dedicated A, but probably not. They're probably heavier towards B. And yet, as soon as you come into Donut, there's just another player. It's a massive bait and switch. It's another one of these rounds where Tilt gets mentally involved, and you are having some extremely competitive rounds. Let's just even compare the first half. Mate, those rounds weren't close. They weren't competitive. They were thrashing them. You've come into the second half, and I don't think Iberian Soul have played poorly. They've had some good chances. Unfortunately, when they've got the bomb down, a lot of times they haven't really had a lot of util, have they? We've had a 4v4 towards A with a 2v2 on B. Both times they didn't have util to work something. And now, I mean, the scoreline, it's just been taken away from them. The momentum's just disappeared.
As is the lead, as has their advantage, as is their economy state. Hero AK on Davy G, hoping and praying that he becomes a hero of his own right. Iberian Soul will need one. Because OG are 1 step away from map and match point, and for Iberian Soul, that could be their elimination. Davy just caught vision, just evaded the damage of Spook. Flash is sent both directions. He'll be heard transitioning away to the entrance. I'm hoping they extend out all the way around Donut. No one's seen here by Iberian Soul. They're back with his collective.
Now, Rostos has even got the AWP over Nikodos in this round. The AK down towards bottom ramp is waiting for the shelf players, and he's seen contact on at least one, and he's going to start hearing the footsteps are coming out from cave.
One player in red will hear the rotation room, but I don't know if that matters when the rifle is associated against the pistols. Swing out aggressive. Actually, Adam B chokes it, but Nikodos holds his nerve at ramp, gets his double. Chrisen chimes in. Bomb dropped. Rifle picked up by Davy, but his teammates have all fallen in turn. And it's 12 and 10. Map and match point for OG. 2 for Iberian Soul to take us to overtime and stay alive in the ESL Challenger League.
I know that Arostos is just the A player and he's playing the AWP very passively, which is something you see, I would say, somewhat frequently from an AWPer trying to play A. But when I'm looking at Arostos AWPing over Nikodos, it's just crazy. It's just something you don't see in Tier 2 or even Tier 1. 30 kills for the AWPer rifling. Iberian Soul have tried everything in this second half, and every single time it has just been defeat after defeat.
AWPers involved. The Martinez Mopos takes Nikodos down. Adam B can take 1 kill. Smoke trying to get himself a bit of cover. He was flash blind against his teammate. Spook comes up against a Saul. The side defensive holding well as Chrisen also gets involved. Alex seeing players beyond that smoke. Can't stabilize his spray. It's Martinez all alone. At least him and Alex have got a couple kills on the way out, but 21 HP to survive this 1v2. Officially a 1v3 clutch. He's taking out the first man next to him, moving together. Arostos and Krizin. Arostos on point, and Martinez does not know he's exposed until it's far, far too late. 13-10, a 2-0, and a humongous comeback from OG sends Iberian Soul crashing out in the ESL Challenger League.
And it's not the first time that they've had to have these big comebacks. I look back at their lower bracket round 3 game when they took on Tabson & Co. Map number 1, they were down 3-9. Went into that second half, what happened? Didn't lose a single round, went completely flawless. Now, you can sit here and say, oh, but one round was the difference. Yes, it was, but from a mindset and an organization perspective, this has got to be a good achievement against a strong squad in Tier 2. That was an excellent display in the second half of Ancients.
Most certainly, and not only in terms of just the caliber of opposition, because I'd say that Iberian Soul, as you mentioned earlier on during the broadcast today, they probably should be gunning to make a spot for themselves in the Tier 1 environment. OG, well, certainly they could drop that line of thinking and try and go for a Tier 1 environment of their own right. This team looks very scary, and now not only have you got that caliber of victory in your bag, you've got it twice now, going even better than the previous head-to-head, which was a 2-1 series and a dragged out overtime on Nuke. You got it 2-0, looking one-sided on your opponent's map pick. Yeah, sure, you got tested to that 9-3 disadvantage for Iberian Soul, but that comeback, that's only done by some of the best in my eyes.
Indeed it is, and I'd look at some of these lower bracket teams. I mean, Ents being in a lower bracket, OG being in a lower bracket, Iberian Soul being here too. There's a lot of depth in the lower bracket to challenge some of the upper bracket teams. I mean, Z10, BetBoom, 9, Paravision, teams that we see quite frequently at the Tier 2 landscape, but maybe not like an OG that's got a major behind their back or got the Tier 1 environments that they've been in previous iterations. For OG, I mean, this is now, what, 14 out of the past 16 best of 3s being won on HLTV. I think it's an excellent track record. There might be asterisks and there might be concerns about what happens at that next level of competition and when they do eventually get to another LAN, but as of right now, they're winning a lot of series. They're in good touch.
Indeed they are, and look, like I said before, I think this OG right now looks like the best OG that we've seen almost ever, I want to say. You know, Tier 1 partners in mind and all, but I'm excited to see them go forward with this new identity. I want to see them try and succeed. I've wanted to see them succeed for a very long time, and so with this 2-0 in mind, with them moving forward in the Challenger League Cup, I want to see them go deep. I want to see them at least make a decent opportunity to take the regional final spot if they can make it happen. But that's to decide from them as the bracket rolls on, and our match ended on the main stream, but our community streamers are still going right now. Paravision versus 9, 10-2 on map 2 for Paravision, looking to take us to map 3 over there. Similar story for Johnny Speeds as they're up over Ents. Zero Tenacity versus BetBoom is going to map number 3, Dwayne. So it looks like we're the only ones that we're going to go down to 2-0 today.
And in a surprising fashion. Now, to talk a little bit around the Iberian Soul, I'm not concerned by this loss whatsoever. Yeah, it's a series that's disappointing, but let's just look at their track record. I mean, they've been able to win 4 events in the last handful of months, and 2 of them have been LANs. This is a side that is gunning for the major spot, and with Starladder around the corner, with on Friday them going to the Romanian LAN, I expect good results from them. I expect them to qualify to the major, and towards the end of the year start getting Tier 1 applications just off of their VRS rank alone. So it's disappointing to go out here. I'm sure we'll see them in the next ECL Cup. They'll be trying to see if they can strive for Pro League. I mean, I think back in the day, that's kind of what made Movistar Riders, wasn't it? Some of those early seasons of Pro Leagues where we got to see them in the best of 3s really challenge some of the best teams in the world.
Well, look, I will say that in terms of this tournament, it's a bit of an upsetting elimination for Iberian Soul, but you are right in the grander scale of things. I think that they've got a lot more coming around the corner for them. I think their points are going to build. I think they're going to continue on the upper trajectory. So even though it's a bit of a sting today, I think that Iberian Soul will be seeing a lot more of them in the coming few weeks. But for today, that's all we have for you on the European division of the ESL Challenger League. We've got North America and South America coming up later tonight, so make sure you're tuning back into ESL TV because there's plenty more action to come. But from Europe, that's all we have for today. We'll see you back here very soon.
I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my feet become